If you've been struggling with orbit trials, or trying to farm diamonds in the Hunter contest, don't worry, you're definitely not the only one. And honestly, most players don't realize they're losing damage simply because their companion setup doesn't match the stage they're clearing. Once you fix that, the game suddenly becomes a whole lot smoother. So today, we're going through all of Sylus's companions, including the newly released Silverwing Fiend. We'll talk about what each one does, who they're best for, and the builds that make them hit way harder than you expect. Whether you're a beginner or deep into the game already, this guide will help you run stages with confidence and way less stress. Companions play a huge role in how strong you feel in battle. They help you break shields, boost your damage, give you burst windows, or control mobs depending on their kit. So if a fight ever felt weirdly harder than it should be, this might be the reason. Before we dive into each companion, let's keep the basics super simple. Myth companions are unlocked through matching 5-star solar memory pairs. They're stronger, more flexible, and scale better once you rank them up. Non-myth companions, on the other hand, unlock naturally as you progress through the story, making them easier to build early on. Matching proto-field colors helps you break shields faster, and mismatched colors mean you'll rely more on protocores to fill in the gaps. And every companion has 4 key abilities: a passive skill, a support skill, a resonance skill, and the cinematic Ardent Oath. With that out of the way, let's dive into each companion and how they actually work in combat. Starting with the only non-myth companion, the Otherworldly Visitor. It's simple, straightforward, and great for beginners. This companion focuses on single target burst damage and scales with attack. If you're early in the game or don't have myth companions yet, he's your reliable starter pick. My recommended rotation is to trigger the support skill, then resonance skill, then basic or charged attacks, then fully charged support skill. His support skill boosts your attack and increases Sylus's energy recovery for 12 seconds. When Sylus has full energy, the empowered version of the support skill deals even more damage and boosts attack further. His passive increases synergy while both of you are attacking. When synergy fills, you'll trigger the empowered support skill more consistently. His resonance skill is simple, a fast multi-hit melee combo. No gimmicks, no trick windows, just clean, direct damage. The downside? He struggles in mob-heavy stages. But he's free, reliable, and a great starting point. For builds, aim for 60 to 70% crit rate, use damage to weaken for bosses, crit damage for mobs, and pair him with either Hunter Sword or Claymore for smooth synergy generation. Let's dive into the myth companions, starting with Relentless Conqueror. Think of him as Otherworldly Visitor's older, stronger brother with way better crowd control. You can unlock him by getting the Captivating Lesson and Captivating Flavor 5-star solar memories. These are available in the standard X-Space Echo banner or through limited event banners. His kit revolves around a mechanic called Devour Mark. Whenever you use support or resonance, enemies gain a Devour Mark. Hitting marked enemies drops dark energy, which heals both you and Sylus. This makes him surprisingly tanky in longer fights. If you apply Devour Mark again on an already marked enemy, the mark charges for 8 seconds. Once it finishes charging, the enemy takes additional damage equal to 80% of the damage you dealt during those 8 seconds, so if you burst hard during that window, you'll trigger a huge explosion at the end. This is where he feels really good for mob stages or fights where enemies stay grouped. His support skill pulls a target towards Sylus, and the empowered version adds AoE damage. His resonance skill hits 3 times in quick succession. For builds, focus on attack substats and use Oath Recovery plus Expedited Energy on solar memories. Swap to double Expedited after rank 1. For lunar memories, use damage to weaken for bosses, crit damage for mobs, and maintain 60 to 70% crit rate. His exclusive weapon, Harrier 700, is perfect for him. It syncs with his kit and makes his rotations much smoother. My recommended rotation is to trigger the Resonance skill, then Support skill, then basic attacks while picking up Dark Energy to heal you, then charged attacks. If you're good at parrying, Claymore is also a good choice. It can deal a lot of damage in the 8 seconds of Devour mark. Next is the Companion with high risk, high reward, and one of the flashiest rotations Sylus has. Abysm Sovereign unlocks from the 5-star Solar Memories, Abyssal Mark, and Abyssal Blossom. He's a multi-target burst DPS who thrives on fast, explosive damage windows, making him better suited for a crit build in my opinion. His passive is unique. The moment you enter combat, both you and Sylus immediately lose 50% of your current HP and enter Abyssal Feast. His support skill summons a Fiendish Claw that hits multiple enemies and heals you both for 5% of your max HP. This is important because his Resonance skill drains HP over time. Long pressing his Resonance puts you into Abyssal Fury, a powered-up mode with swirling red orbs and significantly increased damage at the cost of HP drain. Because of that, having more HP before you enter this state means dealing even more damage, so it really helps to top yourself up as much as you can before activating Resonance. Here's a simple rotation to keep things smooth. Long press your Resonance skill to enter Empowered mode, then use your support skill right after. Spam your basic attack until the empowerment ends. This state lasts for about 11 seconds, and your small window to heal is the 2 to 3 seconds right before your next Resonance. Using a charged attack during that time heals more, so take advantage of it whenever you can. Abysm Sovereign scales with HP, not attack. So focus heavily on HP substats, use Oath Recovery and Expedited Energy for Solar Memories, and switch to Double Expedited after rank 1. For Lunar, go with crit damage to maximize burst, maintaining crit rate at 60 to 70%. Before we move on to the newest and most complex companion, if you're enjoying this deep dive and want more guides like this, especially for future companions and builds, make sure to subscribe. It really helps me create more love and Deepspace content for our community, and I'd honestly love to have you here. Finally, let's talk about the recently released Silverwing Fiend, great for both boss and mob stages, but mastering him takes practice. To unlock him, you need to pull both 5-star Solar Memories, Crimson Rapture, and Crimson Departure, available in his limited myth banner or future reruns. He's incredibly self-sufficient and doesn't need expedited energy boosts. He automatically applies a rose mark at the start of battle, and when you consume this mark using a charged attack, you deal bonus damage and restore energy. The mark naturally regenerates every 10 seconds, or faster if you weave in basic attacks. Silverwing Fiend scales with defense, so he needs defense-based substats, not attack-based ones. For Solar Memories, start with Oath Recovery plus defense bonus, and once you hit rank 1, switch Oath Recovery to another defense bonus, or Oath Strength depending on comfort. For Lunar Memories, use damage to weaken for bosses, or crit damage for mobs, and keep your crit rate between 60 to 70%. Now, let's talk about Resonance rotations. Start with a charged attack, then use Resonance skill, follow with your active skill, and continue with basic attacks until your rose mark returns. After that, go charged attack again, then basic attack while waiting for Resonance to come back and Crimson Bond to activate. Once you're in Crimson Bond, press and hold active skill, then use basic attacks, and finish with your Resonance skill. It's a very steady, rhythmic cycle, and once it clicks, he becomes incredibly fun to use. If you ever find a rotation that feels more natural for your playstyle, I'd love to hear it. Here's a quick summary to help you remember everything easily. Otherworldly Visitor is great for single target and early game bosses. Relentless Conqueror is an upgraded version of the Otherworldly Visitor with self-healing and can be used for mobs. Abysm Sovereign has burst DPS with HP scaling and empowered resonance windows. Silverwing Fiend is an all-rounder but is good for long boss fights and sustained DPS stages. I hope this helped you feel more confident building Sylus as a companion and getting the most out of him in battle. And if you're already curious about why Sylus is the way he is, or how his story actually lines up with everything happening in the game, you're definitely not alone. The lore can get overwhelming fast. The next video is all about mapping out Sylus's timeline, so it finally makes sense. Just click on the video on your screen, and let's explore his story side by side.